What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the It Matters podcast. Before jumping into this episode, if you want to stay updated with all the content I post, don't forget to subscribe to the Facebook page It Matters podcast. This episode is brought to you by Sneaks. Sneaks, it's all about sneakers. These guys are so passionate about the quality of their products and absolutely in love with sneakers. Each pair of them has its own story and personality. However, they truly believe that sneakers are often the ones who actually find us and not the other way around. And this is how their story started. Do you want to keep going? Choose Sneaks and make the step. You can find them online at www.snix.ro. I'll say it again, snix.ro. Today's guest is not only a resident neurologist but also a true friend of mine, interested in increasing people's functionality with a minimal negative impact on the environment. He has no notable achievements in the field of neurology or neurosciences and does not necessarily make any effort in order to change that. He considers that the process of defining his work is not complete, nor does he want to battle the zeitgeist of his generation. Pretty strange introduction, you may think, but don't be deceived by all that. Trust me, you'd absolutely love this guy. So, without any further introduction, please help me in welcoming a man that raises irony, humor, and sarcasm to the rank of art, Dr. Dragos Sandu. Hello, Dragos. Welcome to the podcast, and thank you so much for accepting my invitation.
Hello, and thank you for having me.
You know what I really like about this introduction? The fact that, okay, the title, that's, okay, how to have things done and at their best, okay, but people, I'm quite sure that they have absolutely no idea about what are we going to talk about today.
Well, from my point of view, nobody ever really has any idea about what the others are really trying to do. And it's quite fascinating to see people interact with each other and try to make the best out of any given day in society and in other circumstances as well.
I totally agree with you, and you know what fascinates me as well? That I've known you for how long? 5 years? 5 years. We had a lot of conversations on so many topics, but never recorded, and I really have to admit that I'm quite anxious, and it's a bit strange that we are talking English rather than Romanian, but I think we can figure it out.
Yeah,
eventually.
We'll pull it off eventually.
Eventually. To start with, I'll ask you, like the previous guests, why did you choose medicine and why neurology?
Well, choosing medicine wasn't that hard because there was nothing left for me to do. I never saw myself working in an office. I can clearly not perform any physical activity on the long term. Luckily, we're only recorded with sound. And that was basically the whole idea. I wanted to do something with my mind and not in a necessarily restricted environment.
Okay, I understand, but okay, not in a physical way, but you could be a Formula One driver. You don't do anything physical, just sit in a car and drive.
Yeah,
and
well,
you're not in an office.
Usually F1 drivers lose about 3 to 4 kilos.
Perfect, it's a win-win.
Yeah, but they still have to be in shape and...
Come on. 2 days in a F1 car and you lose 10 kilos in 2 days.
Yeah, but think about this. You also have to be very aware of all the things happening around you, and also have sharp reflexes and basically be as fit as you can.
Okay, I have to agree with you here. Yeah. Okay, so medicine was basically the only choice, considering your abilities, your wish, your why.
Yes.
But why neurology? Because medicine is so vast and you could do basically anything.
Yeah, neurology is basically I don't know how to put this without offending anybody.
Don't worry, people will get offended anyway, so
Yeah.
say it as you want.
The most complex speciality from my point of view.
Okay.
And you will never ever truly master all of its secrets. And I'd much rather live with a constant feeling that I have new things to discover rather than accept partial truths as if they were the meaning of life or something like that. Because once you do everything you want in a certain domain, then there's nothing left. And if you don't find something to replace that, you're basically lost and
stuck.
Yeah, adrift, more or less.
Yeah, I understand. And I also think that neurology is quite fascinating and is very complex. I mean, I like neurology when I studied it. I was so scared about neurology because of this. I thought about it like an totally unknown territory with a lot of new terms.
Yes.
And it's basically like a foreign language.
Yes.
And I fell in love with it, truly. I don't think I will do that, but this neurology was a start point for me, and it shifted something in my mind regarding the specialty that I'm going to choose.
I'm happy for you. I'm not really excited about working as a neurologist because there are many different challenges that will absolutely exhaust you on the long term. But the fact that I'm not so much in love with the job that I perform is quite a blessing in disguise from my point of view, because if you end up doing something that is like a hobby for you for money, you will not only lose the pleasure of doing that activity, but if it doesn't work out for you at the level that you imagined it, then you're quite in a bit of a trouble, because that's what made you the way you are. And on the long term you have to deal with it and accept certain limitations that come with your decisions.
Right. I've heard the guy, I think it was a guy who had this awkward, I thought back then, perception of life. He said, man, life should be around three main hobbies. One that gives you money, one that keeps you fit, and one that makes you happy. Three hobbies.
Yeah,
because you mentioned the term hobbies, and I thought, yeah, if you look at them like hobbies, and basically when you have a hobby, it's like a way out. You are passionate about it, otherwise not a hobby.
Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with the saying that you have to choose a job that you like in order to be happy for the rest of your life, and will not never have the impression that you are actually working. I'm not saying that you should choose a job that you hate.
Just for the money.
Yeah, but it's really hard to constantly be happy about something that I think must be done thoroughly, and that can lead to certain disappointments because there are no easy ways in achieving something, and failing is part of the process. So if you focus on the loss, then the whole idea of doing something that you like will gradually erode you from within, and it can backfire quite ugly.
Yes, true. I think about success, like, because you mentioned failures and failing. I think about success like your willingness to fail at increasingly high levels.
Yes,
No matter what you do.
on condition that it doesn't become a habit.
The habit, what? Failing?
Yeah,
Yes,
the
but
habit of failing must be
that's
controlled.
of course, but that's why I said on increasingly high levels, because it's inevitable. You fail at each point, but if you fail at the same level,
Yes,
there's no evolution.
You're right.
There's no development.
Yes.
That's why I said increasingly high levels, because you'll fail. Even if you are on top, you will fail. But maybe you'll go better and higher. But the fail it's inevitable, right?
Okay.
We agreed on that.
Yeah.
But why stayed in Romania?
Well, staying in Romania just happened. I never truly wanted to live. I am aware of different opportunities. I'm aware of the things that I might lose if I leave Romania. And to be honest, it never crossed me to really leave and just start something new. I'm not saying that people shouldn't weigh in their options, but at this moment in my life, I don't think that I need a major change, and that's why I'm happy with the way things are right now.
I really respect you for that. I mean, I think that we, being in the medical world, I think we have equal possibilities for development. Maybe not here, but we can travel. Like doctors, I guess you travel a lot, and I know you travel a lot.
Yes.
Do different conferences, congresses, workshops, and I think it's quite nice and better if you stay here and try to give back what you learn, because I know a lot of colleagues that want to leave the country, and I don't blame them, I don't judge them, but I'm always saying that okay, you go, but if you decide to stay, you have to stay and do something, not just stay and live and breathe.
Yes.
You have
do
to
it
stay,
right.
Yes, do it right, and do it better than you aim to do.
Yes.
I mean, you set a goal, aim higher.
Yeah, people usually say it's a cliche that you must be the best you that you can be. But I have to agree with that point of view, because only by becoming the best version of us can we truly be fulfilled with what we are doing, no matter the specialty in our case, or
the environment.
Yes, and that will lead to a lot of happiness, especially on the long term.
Basically, you're saying that the most important condition is self-awareness.
Yes.
no matter what you do, where you
Self-awareness
do.
in order to achieve the best results that you can achieve, and also be very open to new possibilities of shifting towards different I don't know, jobs or hobbies or whatever, as long as you decide that you can do something better. Doing things right will lead to an increased level of happiness from my point of view, rather than just trying to struggle each and every day on something that you think it's meant for you.
Mhm.
You'll have to find your own way and then deal with it.
I do agree with you on this one, and I remember when I talked to you about, I'm starting a podcast. Do you want to come and talk? And I asked you, okay, you said, oh yes, it's nice. I think it's a great idea, and I also want to thank you for supporting me in this. I remember I asked you, okay, and what do you want to talk about? And you said, actually, it's not about medicine. I mean, like, we are not talking about medical stuff, and you said, I want to talk about how to do things right, and
Yeah.
in the right way, and good, and at your best level, your highest level. But
Um,
what's the mindset for that? What do you think you have to put in your mind, from your point of view, of course, to achieve this?
yeah, well, after starting to work, I realized that nobody is ever fully prepared for the job that they start. Um, well, maybe except some cases, isolated cases, because I realized that after studying medicine, I wasn't able to perform simple tasks in the hospital, such as filling out papers and different forms. And I had a bit of a rough time accepting that and dealing with the fact that there are no lectures on how to talk to people, how to get the things that you need for different patients or something like that. But then I started seeing things from a different perspective when I wanted to buy something, and there was a lady in front of me arguing with the vendor, and I realized that nobody will ever fully teach you how to deal with people, because we are so different, and not even
Different in
people.
so many ways.
Yes, and not even people that work in banks will be.
Mastering this.
Yes. For example, if you're a young economist that barely started working at a bank, you'll have to deal with people. You'll just have to forget everything you learned about macroeconomics, about different interest rates, about how the stock is doing. Um, you'll have to just adapt to different situations that people around you are creating. And that's the greatest challenge in life, actually, because once you master that quality of being as versatile as you can,
and flexible.
yes, and flexible,
Yeah, it's all about flexibility.
yes, um, the greatest skill that anybody could master,
Yes,
from
and I
my
think
point of
it's
view.
it's even more important in medicine, because okay, the guy you said from the bank talk to the people. his mission is basically to get the people in front of them, get the message.
Yes.
But you see, you as a doctor, I think the implications are even higher than that, because you are talking about a patient's life, a patient's treatment. If the patient does not fully understand and is not aware of his problems, of his pathology, this is an error of communication. And
Yes, I'm aware of the fact that doctors especially must get their message fully understood by their patients. However, people must be aware of the fact that they have to put in an effort in order to fully understand what they are being told. So it must be a joint effort in order to achieve the best possible outcome, especially for physicians that are not surgeons, because
you don't have that immediate feedback like a surgeon.
yes,
I understand.
and people need to be even more open to discussing things with their doctors, as long as they pay attention and don't make the same mistakes when choosing to eat something or administer the wrong pills.
To behave in a, let's
Yes.
say, to behave in a certain way.
Yes, in order to increase adherence to treatment, there must be a joint effort.
Of course it has. And I think that, you see here, we lack that communication skills.
Yes, that's one of the things that they don't teach you in medical school.
Although we have to admit that as medical students we have a lot of opportunities to talk to patients, compared with students from foreign countries and in other universities. I mean, we can talk to patients, we can talk to them, we can make a physical exam easily. But that was my next question. What do you think are some of the malfunction of the medical process of the teaching, the university, let's say?
Well, first of all, I don't think that students should be as focused as they are on just memorizing facts, because although a good doctor does know a lot of medical facts, I'd much rather be in a team with people that are able to think and have a critical a critical approach on things, in order to fully understand what's happening, than to be in a team with people that are basically lost when they're
living books, basically.
Yes.
They can recite and tell you the last line on, I don't know, on the 50 page of I don't know what book.
Yes.
But when you put them in the front of a patient, they are lost, because we come back to what you said about flexibility and how to adapt to different situations.
Basically, it's the combination from from our IQ, our social and emotional intelligence. Because I've seen brilliant people, high school classmates, basically get lost because they didn't quite focus on their target. And I was always flabbergasted by their thinking skills. However, their interaction with others and choices were not so
in accordance
fortunate.
Okay.
Yes. And it's an old Romanian saying that goes like "brânză bună în burduf de câine." That clearly states that even if you do have the potential of doing great things, you must be as focused as you can on doing the right things and doing things right.
Okay.
Because the target can easily be lost if all the other distractions around you become too important.
Yeah, or sometimes even more important than the
Yes.
purpose itself.
Yes, basically they're clouding your mind.
And you think, talking about that, this kind of people, I think they have, the problem is that they don't know their why they are doing this. Because if you know why you're doing anything, the principle behind it, the target and the aim comes naturally.
Yeah,
and I don't understand why people are trying to improve are focusing more on improving the things they lack the skills, okay, they lack some skills, rather than focus more on what they're good at and make it to a whole higher level, and also improve, but just a little bit, the part where you are not excelling. But why not focusing on what you do best? I mean, you can do best at everything.
Yes.
You cannot do this, and I really don't understand why you should go and work more on the skills you don't have. Why? I'll go to work more on the skills I have, and I'll become a master.
Yes, it's better in today's society to be master of all trades rather than jack of none.
Okay, but what do you mean with that?
Basically, everybody wants to be perfect. It's the pressure that society puts on us.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that the old saying goes like, it's bad for you if you are a jack of all trades rather than master of none.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that people have to start realizing, as you said, that we all have limitations and we can't do everything, almost everything that we aspire or dream to do, because let's face it, I'm not gonna be a singer anytime soon or ever.
You never know.
Yeah, but I tend to accept the things that I can't really change about me, rather than focus on changing something that's part of me.
Right, and we come back to self-awareness, because
Yes.
This is all about self-awareness, what you're telling me now.
Yes, once you accept all the things that are given to you, then will you be able to fully focus on doing things right, even though not always you'll have to do things that you actually like.
I see. Basically, I think that the question that is to be raised is that, do you want to be average on everything, or do you want to excel in one thing, no matter what that one thing is? Because you can be average in basically anything. Even if you never can sing, you'll be average. Let's say, with a bit of training, you will be average, right?
Yes.
But do you focus on the skills, the knowledge, your passion? Do you want to focus on them and to excel at what you should do? Or do you want to try everything and reach a moderate level of everything?
As long as the sacrifices that you have to do in order to achieve your goals are not very important
Okay.
and not very often, then from my point of view, you should definitely try to focus on doing one thing right and just deal with the rest from a more relaxed perspective, because there's no shame in living without knowing everything.
But
I'd much rather live with the benefit of a doubt
okay.
rather than have answers to all the questions and basically um, lack the thrill of discovering new things.
Now the process of discovering new
Yes,
things.
the process.
That's what you want.
Basically, the joy of putting effort into finding out new stuff that you would normally wouldn't invest any effort
I think
in.
that we sometimes get more joy from the process of achieving something rather than the goal itself, because the goal is something, let's say, temporary. It's a state of mind, it's a state of something, either it's happiness, maybe you are I don't know, you feel you are fulfilled, but it's a state. The process always takes longer, and I think you could, if you enjoy the process, you basically can achieve everything, because the the road between where you are right now and your goal is the road. If you don't enjoy the road, you won't reach the goal, right?
Yeah, you.
The road is not all enjoyment.
Yes.
Of course, we talked about failing.
Yeah. I'm.
The road might go sideways sometimes.
Yeah, as long as you stay on the right path, you can achieve most of the things that you consider to be achievable from your point of view. However, the road, as you
Okay.
mentioned, is basically is making up the most of our lives.
Right.
Goals are just endpoints that are quite fulfilling
Agree.
once achieved.
Agree.
And this reminds me of the interpretation of the myth of Sisyphus, that states that people actually enjoy being a little Sisyphus in the day-to-day life, because it's the struggle that keeps us sane, basically.
Right.
And gives us meaning. But you have to agree that achieving some goals in life, not some goals, achieving your goals,
That goals.
yes, leads to an increased level of happiness
and self-esteem.
That will only provoke you in achieving something new, something different, or something even more complex.
Yes, and I think that another problem when setting a goal is that when you think about a goal, I don't know how to put it so that everyone could understand. I think that it should be infinite. Basically, you don't have a goal and you achieve that goal, and after that you say, okay, what do I do now? I think it should be something, and our mission is to discover how to get there.
Yes.
And the goal should be, I don't know, if you like to help people, that's a goal that you reach every day by doing something, but you cannot say, okay, I helped all the people, right? You can't help all the people. That's the kind of goal. I don't know if I'm making myself very clear, I don't think so, but I have something in my mind regarding this, because you don't have to, you have to set even higher and higher goals. Not reach a goal and say, okay, what do I do now? I reached everything. I go to bed and sleep. No, you have to improve yourself, to improve your skills and everything over and over again.
Yeah, we have to be aware of the fact that our time on this planet is quite limited, and we have to make the most of it because, from my point of view, the nastiest of the seven deadly sins is sloth, because there's no effort put into being, I don't know, an outcast from religion's point of view. And that's the scariest part for me, not doing anything in life. I mean, even if you're doing something that only one other person on this planet will be happy about, you should do it. As long as it keeps you happy as well.
Yeah, of course.
Um,
That's why we are doing this right
yes.
now. That's the purpose.
Yeah. Make things matter for people that want to,
Of course. And resonate with what we're saying.
do things that actually matter.
Of course.
Yeah.
You are talking about life. That I think that in my perception, life is infinite. Our life is finite, but life is infinite.
Yes, but we're merely observers of the infinite life.
True.
That's why we have to eliminate all bad choices, and I don't necessarily refer to bad habits or bad people around us. Just improve the way we live in order to fully make use of our time, because
Can't
I
anymore.
once heard a great neurosurgeon talk about his job, and he said that surgeons, basically, good surgeons are those that can operate well, and great surgeons are those that can operate well with eliminating unnecessary maneuvers. And that's why I'm interested in making people aware of the fact that eliminating all unnecessary distractions will eventually lead to better outcomes in any domain.
And I think that it will lead
And
to a happier life as
yes, and to an even higher quality of life for everybody, because we're on the same boat. And
well. Of course. And I will take a milder approach than you and not eliminate all, but just trying to lower as much of the bad habits as we can. You see, because when you say it's like talking to a guy, you said, okay, you have to, let's say, for an example, you have to lose 30 kilos. Well, I really hope that you enjoyed our conversation so far. Stay tuned for part 2 that is to be released next week.